XBM or Extended Bandwidth Memory for beginners. Now let us look at what this technology is and why it's creating a buzz. Intel has patented this technology and is planning a different path from HBM called Extended Bandwidth Memory XBM, and there are three ideas which are standing out. First, it is now moving the 1T1C memory cell or the DRAM cell out of the front end of the silicon, meaning the transistor is not going to be in silicon anymore, and it will try to build in the metal and via layers above using thin film transistors. So the silicon will be replaced by thin film and the capacitor will be replaced by metal insulator metal capacitor or metal oxide metal capacitors. Drop the wide parallel bus. HBM used to have a wide parallel bus of 1024 bits which will connect the two memory and the device. Here, instead of that, you will now serialize the data using UCIe at 32 GTTS and let the base die handle the conversion. The interposer goes away. This is at a breakpoint where we are also going to see parallel to serial conversion. So this is where even in the past where a lot of parallel buses used to be there, and then they have hit a point where at the expense of certain amount of latency and heat, you will now parallelize it. Rather than parallelizing it, you will serialize it and take this forward. Then comes the package shrink, because the memory on package normally adds about 300 to 350 microns of height, and in this design it cuts that while also removing the stiffener used to stop the warping. So interposer gone away, stiffener gone away, you save the height, and the Z height also reduces, so you can add more number of dies or increase the memory within the package. Now let us look at some of the details of what is a 1T1C. A 1T1C DRAM cell basically is one transistor and one capacitor which forms of the memory holding unit, and the other ones turns off or turns on. So your bit line and the word line. Word line is triggered by the gate of the transistor, and bit line is involved at the drain of the source of the transistor. And this drain and source control what is to be written and what is to be read out. So if you have a bit line 0 and a word line 0, you can address this particular cell, and if you have bit line 1 and word line 1, you can address this particular cell. So these are the two memory units. In place of the capacitor, there are also new techniques which are also called resistive memory array, where you have resistors present to hold the charge, or in this particular case hold the state, and try and see if you can maintain the state at every time. Now if you look at the larger picture, this is where your DRAM die or DRAM unit sits, where you have multiple DRAM present on a single slot, and each of these slots has multiple banks. That is, one chip will particularly have about 8 DRAM banks. Each bank will have multiple subarrays. In this particular case, you have 8 subarrays, and each subarray will have one DRAM cell array, an n cross m array, and each of those n cross m arrays will have a 1T1C DRAM cell. So this is the top to down aggregation that you would see. Now let us look at the patents which are filed by Intel, which lead to this new technology being done. Please note, these patents were filed about 18 months back, and now we see from the USPTO these results are available. So what are these innovations that are there? There are 4 innovations. First one, the implant repair restores the channel performance after process damage by adjusting atomic species at the edges. This basically means the ability to repair the cell. Second, the combined via and gate electrode merges the interconnect and control terminal into one continuous structure, cutting steps and shrinking the cell size. This is referring to the bit line and the word line, where you are able to connect the gate electrode and the via. Then comes additive pillar capacitors, which grow vertical storage nodes with conformal dielectric and electrode layers for strong capacitance in the minimal area. This patent 2 spoke about the T. This is talking about the C. So you can have 1T, 1C present between the back end of the metal or just the metal layers, and this patent talks or this innovation talks about it. Then comes the multi-layer contact metallization, creates a robust low resistance source and drain contacts that survive later thermal steps. So for each of the metallization that you need from the transistor and the capacitor, you need vias and you need contacts. So this multi-layer contact metallization showcases that. Now here are the 4 patents which Intel has filed. One on TFT having multi-layer contact metallization, which is point 0.4. Thin film transistors with additive pillar capacitors, called as the number 3, where you talk about capacitors. The thin film transistors having a combined via and gate electrode, which is point number 2. And thin film transistors having an implant repair, where you can repair it by adjusting the atomic species. So this is point number 1. So in these 3 patents or these 4 patents, the transistor is a thin film transistor or a TFT built in the metal layers rather than silicon substrate. So now what your advantage is, you don't have to take all the transistor right to the bottom where you have to have poly contacts and others. Instead you can have them in the metal layer. The capacitor is formed right next to it as an additive pillar. The complete 1T 1C eDRAM cell can therefore sit directly above the logic transistors, delivering very high density memory with short wires and very high bandwidth inside the same package. Further, together these techniques make true embedded memory arrays or 1T 1C arrays practical in advanced logic nodes. The payoff is massive on the package bandwidth, exactly where AI accelerators need it the most. This work also aligns with Intel's filings on XBM and other HBM concepts that push capacity and speed beyond what HBM alone can deliver. These TFT patents form the foundation for Intel's XBM filings. XBM stack multiple dies of 1T 1C backend DRAM above a base die connected by TSVs and UCIe. Now let us look at what is BEOL and FEOL, the two halves of a chip. The FEOL is front end of the line. This is where the actual silicon transistors are built, which is right at the bottom, right? After the substrate and when the transistors are constructed and the first layer of metallization or the first layer of poly is added. This is the active part of the chip, and high temperatures, precise doping, etc. are there. Most of the traditional DRAM cells lie here. Back end of the line is everything above the transistors. This includes your metal 1 all the way till metal N, which are your top metal layers, where you have various vias, various structures, deep vias, buried vias, all the other connectivity for the metallization that you see, either a single layer or a multi-layer metallization that is there. So here you will have all the insulating layers, the metal wires, via and everything, and it is built at much lower temperatures. Above them comes your packaging, where you have the solder bump or the bump materials or the back end or all the advanced packaging things that you're looking at. Here you would see various liners like chromium, copper and gold layers sitting here along with the silicon nitride protective layers. Until now, the rule was very simple. If it is a DRAM cell, it is FEOL only. That meant you needed a specialized DRAM factory and its own expensive process. Now, this extended bandwidth memory or XBM is a patented memory architecture concept introduced by Intel to serve as a low-cost, high-performance alternative to traditional high bandwidth memory used in AI accelerators. Not just AI accelerators, this can probably be used in any architecture where you want to have the memory as close to the processing unit and as close as low latency or as wide bandwidth as possible. In the conventional HBM, we see that the conventional HBM is connected with GPU die and the base die through a silicon transposer. And this silicon transposer typically has 1024 units or 1024 bit parallel interface, and on two sides it can form 2048 bits for HBM4 and 1024 for HBM3. So it is 1024 for HBM3 and 2048 for HBM4. Now, the proposal from Intel is try to remove these parallel interfaces and the interposer and do a base die based SerDes and have also a SerDes on the compute die. And these SerDes are now being implemented using the serial UCIe protocol working at 32 gigatransfers per second. So what that means is the number of pins and bumps that are needed to be handled will be much smaller. So what does this do? It uses the knowledge and the benefit of high-speed SerDes designs using the UCI protocol, and then you are able to do all the various uh, data transfers and also utilize the extremely high-speed data transfer protocol either with NRC signaling or PAM3, PAM4 based signaling accordingly and see. So this ensures that there is no interposer and no stiffener. So this takes away close to 250 to 350 micron of height. So you can now directly place the base die and the SerDes and the compute die and the SoC on the package substrate directly. The various DRAM cells can now be connected using the TSV gutters that are present. And all of these are going to come rather than a DRAM die separately. This will all be part of the BEOL DRAM. Now what happens is this integrates the base die and the memory in a single process rather than having two different processes for your base die, CPU die and your DRAM die. This makes integration better and it also pays for the DRAM side. It is not all good here. There are certain challenges with XBM proposal. Let us look at them in a couple of slides. Now, where does the memory being built? So before the BEOL DRAM in the traditional case and the FEOL DRAM in the traditional case and the BEOL DRAM in the new proposed case. In the previous FEOL, right above the silicon substrate in the FEOL, you had your 1T and 1C present in the silicon and all the metal routings from M1 to MN where it was BEOL was only used for memory routing here. So here what is shown, memory and the logic compete for the same silicon area and you had to plan them differently. A lot of complexity is involved in the layout planning and also understanding what is the kind of yield it might come to. In this particular case, the FEOL will only have your logic and all your peripheral circuits. The 1T, 1C DRAM will now be integrated within the BEOL with your TFT and your capacitors present in the metallization area. This way you are not computing it differently. The memory will be stacked on top of the logic below. And this vertical stacking allows many addressable blocks. And the die splits into many smaller addressable blocks and it can be utilized. Now let us look at some of the main challenges that the community has identified. And some of the challenges include the latency penalty and the fast SerDes causing issues around the terminals. So the latency penalty typically yields to, instead of having parallel interface, you will now have a serial interface. The parallel interface, though, is working at a slower speed, at around 6.4 to 8.2, around 8.8 GTTS, whereas the UCI protocol, which is your fast SerDes, works with 32 GTTS and possibly much higher data rate in the future. Now what we all know that these fast SerDes can cause thermal issues there and you need to have a proper cooling solution to ensure that is done. Next, though the technology of adding TFTs in the metallization is good, but it is not very trivial. There's a lot of challenges and a lot of yield related issues can come into the picture and it needs to be mastered. Sooner than later, we are going to see that also coming out as we predict multiple patents to be coming out on how the process is being done and how the yield is going to be affected by that. And Intel being Intel, we know they will master it sooner than later. Now, right now, XBM is only a concept, is at a patent state, but for commercialization and for making it in volume takes time and effort. And we are probably looking, as Intel has, the CEO of Intel has informed, we might be looking at production at somewhere around 2030. Now, let us look at what is the foundational shift that we are seeing, that we will see as a summary. By moving the 1T, 1C into the BEOL, you no longer need a pure play DRAM company to manufacture the cells. So companies like Samsung, HK Hynix, who are pure play DRAM manufacturing foundry, can get impacted. The benefit, most of the logic foundries like Intel, TSMC, Samsung, etc. could theoretically produce the high bandwidth memory themselves as you integrate this technology. In the longer term, it becomes possible to grow memory cells directly inside the back end of a compute die. It is a true integration of memory and logic in the same process flow. This last point is especially exciting because it attacks the famous memory wall at a fundamental architectural level instead of just making wider interfaces. So the game is now going to move away from parallel interfaces to high-speed serial interfaces with UCIe, and now getting the right kind of skill sets to generate UCIe, or whoever is the first person to license the highest frequency or highest data rate UCIe will emerge victorious in this work. So before we conclude, a quick summary between the existing HBM4 and the proposed Intel XBM patents which are coming up. So we have about 7 ones. Let us look at each one of them. The data interface is a parallel interface, typically ultra wide, 1024 to 2048 bits. It's a high speed serial interconnect which is ultra fast. The bus width is 2048 bits, doubled from HBM3. In XBM, it is going to be a narrow but a very serialized data streams. Interconnect speed is going to be anywhere between 8 to 11 Gbps per pin for HBM4, whereas UCI links will be 32 GTTS, and we know there are companies coming up with much faster data rates. The silicon interposer is essentially required in the HBM4. TSMC has CoWoS, Intel has the EMIB, and there are other companies having other solutions. But for the XBM, it is totally eliminated entirely. The memory cell location is on the FUL, front end of the line, which is on the base silicon. In XBM, it is on the back end of the line, BUL metal layers. Manufacturing requirement, you need a dedicated and specialized DRAM fabs, whereas XBM will ensure that the standard logic foundries include the TFT technology and integrate everything in a stacked manner. The market status, HBM4 is shipped or is in production by many companies, but XBM is in the long-term patent stage, and post 2030 you can look forward to having commercial solutions. Thank you. If you like many such videos, click like and subscribe to the channel. Good day.